73 degrees. Headed for a high of 59 for tomorrow. Yeehaw. And I'll be headed for Grand Marais to finally get to see my son's home and my 1-year-old grandbaby, Autumnal. I am really creeped out. This is way beyond the something. And I've been gone for 2 days and 2 nights. So what went on here yesterday? I arrived home, walked up onto the deck. I went to get the key. Before I did, I said, uh-oh, yeah, that's right, Ladybug season. Having no idea the extent of what it was going to become. Half an hour from then. Those are all outside, or at least the other side of the glass. There's one that's inside the glass. I have killed yeah, if you get near them, they see your fingers coming and they let go and fall down out of sight. My God, how am I gonna sleep in here? This is disgusting, really disgusting. Is it so much worse this year? Why? I'm looking at the timbers. One up there, 2 there, 1 there. And the ones that come and land on the window, I don't know where they came in from. Stop it. I've already had a few land on me, a couple ricocheted off my head, and what they do at night is creepier, the thought of it. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. They're on the timbers, they're on the ceiling. Oh yeah, flying and crawling on the ceiling. So once I get things under control, that's an interesting word that means very little. We never have control. Then I'm going to have to go out and get some spray foam and I guess go outside and look all around every window and see if there are gaps and then around the doors. This is not fun. This is a real frickin' nightmare. Everywhere I look, not just on the windows. To hell with that now. They're outside. Ones that are inside, like up on the awning windows, those are the ones, and the ones crawling on the ceiling, crawling on the timbers, they are the ones I think that are flying around and then landing on the window inside. I went into town to Ace Hardware and walking up to their door, there's a computer printed sign out there on the door, sold out of all Ladybug, Asian Beetle, and I don't know what else products. Oh shit. Why was I not surprised? I had hoped that maybe I was just a singleton out here in the woods by myself. And Dennis, when I talked to him yesterday, he had the same problem. So it's a very widespread invasion, and apparently Asian beetles are an invasive species. They have no natural enemies, so they just proliferate and go wild population. Well, I'm walking back along this path, and I found the nest. Yellowjacket's nest. It is a hole in the ground, one I had looked at with curiosity several times as I walked over it, around it, right next to it. And a bear or some animal dug it up. Suki had just walked, well, I stopped about 5 feet away when I saw that, and she was right behind me and kept walking. Just about then a yellowjacket came out. Ooh, began to circle her. There's one. So now I know where the nest is, where the guy came out and stung me. I guess I deserved it, being that close to it. I can't believe there are many yellowjackets left in there. I think it's pretty wild. The number of times this summer, well, first of all, I avoided that path altogether. And then, when I began walking that path again, how many times I walked right next to it. Never saw a yellowjacket. Didn't know that that was a yellowjacket nest. I assumed it was maybe a gopher or chipmunk or whatever. I had considered being a yellowjacket's nest, but I never saw any activity around it. Now those holes in the ground, when I see them, I will give them wide berth, expecting that they are yellowjacket nests. Now, I've seen a lot of those holes around. Well, I've shown you. Up in Dennis's field, those 6 holes with no mound around them. Kind of startling to see the extent of those honeycombs that came out of that nest. Jesus. You'd have no idea the size of the cave in there. They got to have open area to build the hive, or the combs. It'd be fun. I use that word guardedly. It'd be fun to get a shovel up there and actually excavate that. See the extent of it. The only animal I know that would have dug that up is a bear looking for honey. I got a phone call from Chuck on Saturday to tell me that he and his brother Jim were going to be coming over to set up or locate a site for the deer stand. Going to set it up out near the power line somewhere. I said, sure, fine. Dennis, the neighbor, came over. I saw him pull into the driveway. Well, that was at the point where I had cinched down my doors, front door and side door, to compress the weather stripping to hopefully keep the ladybugs out. So I couldn't open the doors. I had to open. He came to the front door and I motioned to him, go around the side of the house, and then I went over to the side of the house and opened the awning window. I've got a tall, skinny, you can't really see this, I guess, but tall, skinny, maybe 18-inch wide window on the south side of the house, and below it is an awning window, one of those that just open 8 inches for ventilation. So I opened that up and said, I know this is weird, and I explained why I can't let him in the doors. He wanted to borrow my drill driver, getting ready to go home, and he has to put his plywood window protectors over the windows, and he had forgotten his industrial driver. Then he told me that he had seen somebody over here in a black SUV. Chuck's brother Jim has a dark navy blue Toyota 4Runner. I was sure that's what Dennis saw. And they had unloaded black plastic bags and hauled them into the woods. I'm sure that was brother-in-law. I mean, if somebody's going to dump garbage somewhere out in the woods, they're not going to drive onto my property, drive down the power lines and haul black plastic garbage bags into the woods. Unlike this morning, I looked out my west window and across the bog, I see a deer blind. Can't see it very well. I mean, it's far enough away I couldn't really tell, but it's camouflage color with a big V in the front, like for looking out. I am hoping that that is a temporary installation, that I'm hoping that he will, once hunting season is over, he will dismantle it and take it away. It really interferes with the undeveloped natural view out across the bog. Fine, I can deal with that for a couple months, but I'm going to ask him, in fact, if he's going to take that down. I'm assuming that that's just it's not intended to be left up all year round. End of that story. The war with ladybugs that was resuming today after a night of rest for everybody. The war is on. It began slowly. That's not a hole. Or maybe it is. That one is. The war has resumed, but at a a partially reduced rate. I was up in the loft most of the afternoon, and when I would come down, I'd look at the windows, look for ladybugs on the inside of the window. There would be a few, but not at all what I had yesterday. And I'm banking on the probability that the ones I'm finding on the inside of the windows are ladybugs who were already inside and flew from wherever they were inside onto the windows. And they are not new arrivals from the outside. Please God. But I'm sort of used to it now after yesterday's absolute bedlam, out of control mayhem with those damn things. Killing one every 15 seconds, 30 seconds. I did work on the south screen door and interior door this morning, weather stripping, and I need to order more of that silicone weather stripping. The problem is, by the time that stuff arrives, it might be too late, for this year anyway. Hey, howdy, how you doing? Good to see you, you're looking good. Sitting down here beside Outer Empty. Outer Flats. Outer Mud. Utter Mud. I walked out the driveway earlier today, around noon, and it had a feeling of warm humidity, just like summer, but there was a feeling in it that it's not summer, it's fall. And I was trying to think, what is it? What factor is it that is distinctly not summer, even though it was warm and humid like summer. And I think I chose upon the aromas coming off and out of the earth. Earthy, dead leaf smell, which is wonderful. If you live anywhere near where you get dead leaves in the fall, you know what I'm talking about. If you live in a city, I don't think that would happen because there are fewer leaves, but it really is a marvelous aroma. And I remember the days back when I was a kid. Here we go. Old fogey talking about. I remember when I was growing up in North Minneapolis. Everybody would rake their yards and burn their leaves in the street up against the gutter, concrete gutter. Now that's an aroma that is, wow. I don't smell that anymore. Haven't since they did away with that. I don't know when that was, but it was probably the 70s. Yeah. I could burn my own leaves here, but I don't rake. I want to protect the ground from freezing. And then when the spring comes along, I do rake some areas. Well, I do rake my show place front yard just to keep it tidy and gorgeous, because I don't want the home association to write me up or be gossiping about the twigs and leaves sullying the view in my front yard. You gotta watch out for that, avoid that. We don't want the neighborhood behaving that way, toward me anyway. The ladybug infestation is continuing. I thought maybe for some reason today was going to be different, although earlier on, knowing that we had temperature in the low 80s coming for today, it would be worse than ever. But it gradually burgeoned into a full-scale assault again. Working in the loft until about 3 o'clock this afternoon, where I got to get Suki out for a walk. Our daily date. Came down into the kitchen and looked at the west windows. Oh my God. I set about squashing and killing probably 30 ladybugs on the inside of the doors and windows. I want to keep ahead of them. I don't. Once again, I'm pretty sure they are getting into the house somewhere, somehow, just as bad as the Yellowjacket nests. I can't find the source of their hanging out. But they do taper off significantly beginning around, well, when the sun begins to lower in the west, and now it's sinking farther and farther south each day. So things are really tapered off by 5:30 until about 6:30 or 7. There are no ladybugs in sight anywhere. I can open the doors back up, make sure there are none on the inner screen doors, and then in the morning there are no ladybugs around at all anywhere again until beginning around noon or 1, when the sun begins to moves around and begins to hit the west side of the house, and then I make sure by then the door is cinched shut again. Beginning tomorrow morning, I am going out first light or close to it to resume my firewood production. I've been off that for at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Every day chastising myself for not getting out there sooner. I have been avoiding Yellowjackets, as you know, as I know.
And I think they're pretty well out of the picture now. I don't know where they are and why they aren't out on these warm days like this. They're probably saving themselves up for when I do present myself. And they're gonna ambush me. Hundreds. But I'm setting myself a daily quota of 2 wheelbarrows full, split and stacked into the woodshed. And I'm going to have to make sure that they are split in smaller size so they will dry out, season more quickly than larger chunks, which is what I was making back in June. I've now got 5 of my own gopher mounds in the front yard. They're not nearly as large as these. Maybe the gophers were being considerate and not making the huge mounds. They were making mounds light, L-I-T-E. It won't take long to get those out of there. Why is it now I'm seeing an entry hole on almost every gopher mound I come across? Maybe they're doing that just for me, so I quit complaining.